أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح العالمين لترابي مقدمه الفداء. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Mubarak for everybody, the beginning of Sha'ban, and it's, as you know, it's full with barakah and blessing, with 4 birthdays in it. It's interesting when we look at these 3 months, Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan, we can see that in Rajab we have birthday of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and then the Mab'ath, and then Sha'ban comes full with birthdays, Imam Hussein. So you know that the Prophet said that Husaynun minni wa ana min Husayn. So my continuation of my message is through Hussein, and the final continuation is for Imam Zaman. So it's all in Sha'ban. And also we have Imam Sajjad and Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhim salam. And as you know, the 15th of Sha'ban is a very blessed night. And then we have Ramadan with its barakah, inshallah, with birthday from Imam Hassan alayhi salam, and the night of Qadr. It's interesting in Sha'ban in particular, you know, there's a hadith said Rajab is the month of Allah, and Sha'ban is my month, that's Prophet sallallahu alaihi month, and Ramadan is the people month. And there is another hadith saying Rajab is Imam Ali's month, Sha'ban still Prophet's month, and Ramadan Allah month. So in both hadith, Sha'ban is from the Prophet, and we can see that from the blessing of this, there is no shahada in this month. So all happy occasions in it. So inshallah, Allah will give us the blessing that usually comes down heavily in Sha'ban. So we'll continue with how can we know you, my Lord. And it's about time to work on to know Him, because we've done few things now to move towards that, and inshallah we are about to reach. So how to know Almighty God? You remember that we said to know Him Almighty is not to know Him, but to know what He is not. And that's very good. I'll keep on repeating until it will be part of us, inshallah. So remember that we will remove the heaviness. We'll try to see the lights that it will come to us. And when we do that, we will find no time to waste. So these 3 things will give us the move and give us the ability to receive more. So it will come now the time that we concentrate on something else, and when we do that, we always stay present, not absent, not in the future, which we don't go to it at all, not in the past, which we cannot go back. We live in the present, and when we live in the present, we will try to ponder about what's around us, and then we can start at least we have an insight of Allah. So that's the answer for when am I going to work to see Him Almighty. You remember we wake up, we cleaned up, now we want to stay clean. There is a stage that I will miss, and I do apologize for that. This is return to God, the inaba, and I'm missing it because of the time constriction. So we are going to jump a step, and we are going to step 5, which is pondering or thinking, and the name in Arabic tafakkur. So what's the meaning of pondering? Pondering and sorry, what's the importance of this, and why is it important? It comes from the meaning. Tafakkur means in Arabic, many meaning actually. One is pondering about something, or thinking about it, or reflecting. And all this is just a different aspect for one thing in common. So thinking, either pondering, which is mainly trying to extrapolate things from it, or reflecting about something has happened. And interestingly, in Quran, subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we send you the message. that you can clearly explain to people what's sent for them, for they may think or ponder. So from this verse in Surah An-Nahl, it's very clear that the main reason for the message and the essence of the message is for us to think. And this is why Quran and Islam is the religion of thinking. Quran in general is a pondering book, because in each verse there is a book, and verse is the wrong name. I've just done something wrong here, because this book came as a guidance for human being, but in reality is the guidance for the whole universe. It has laws. It's not a guidance, it's like a guidelines. So it's all the laws of the universe. All the universe follow it without a will, and only human being has a will with following it. And that's why Islam came with a new thing. So we always call it verse, and verse is not, linguistically, it's not a right description. In Arabic we say ayah. We don't say jumla, we say ayah. In English, translate ayah to a verse, but verse is not right, it's sign. So each verse, between brackets, it's actually a sign, and a sign needs to ponder about. And if you want to do it like that, you'll stay long, because you have mashallah more than 6,000 signs to ponder around. So we are not short of signs, we are short of pondering. So our ulama says pondering, it's using the insight to reach the goal. And by this we are moving from basics. So like in mathematics, you take the numbers, you add them to reach something, or multiply them, or do all the functions that we do. So moving from the basics to reach the target. And by this we are activating our insight, and you will be amazed how much we will gain by activating our insight to reach the truth. And who is the truth? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the importance. Now, what's the position for Ahlul Bayt of pondering? This is very important to give us this encouragement to ponder, because whenever we talk about pondering, our mind is connected to meditation. You sit with a crossed leg and you think and think. No, it's actually much more, although it could be part of it. So from our beloved Prophet ﷺ, he said the best worship is pondering. So when he said the best, it is the best. It's better than anything else. And there is a Bedouin came to ask him. He said, I don't have time to do lots of the nawafil. Just give me one thing I do. He said, 1 hour of pondering is better than 1 day of worship. And in another hadith, he said 1 hour of pondering, it's better than praying the whole night. And another hadith, it's better than praying for 70 nights. In another hadith, praying for 70 years. So really this is depend on the person. I mean, these hadiths are not different, but one of us, when we stay the whole night, when we do 1 hour of pondering is equal to 1 night. If we are a bit better in pondering, it's equal to 70 nights, and if we are really good in it, it's equal to 70 years. And Imam Ali alayhi salam told us, pondering deletes bad deeds. And who doesn't have a bad deed or a sin? Pondering deletes it. But why is that? Remember we said the thought is a virus. You need to remove that. And pondering is the one to remove, because it's thought and thought. And we can do something better with that. René Descartes, he's one of the French philosophers, he said, I think, so I exist. Because at his time there was a question of, do we really exist, or it's just illusion? We think, because everything comes from senses, and our senses is not a reality, so in a way we are not a reality. So his answer for that was, well, I think. So it's not my senses, it's me thinking, so I do exist. Well, this not fully accepted by the Islamic philosophers, because as we discussed in our first and second, this I is a problem. He put I think, so I exist, and this is the big illusion of I. And well, but this is part of the Western philosophy anyway. So pondering is our spiritual medical prescription for ascension to a higher level. If we want really to go to a higher level, this is the prescription to get it. So remember last week we talked about when our Prophet advised Abu Dhar what to do in his day, and he divided to 4 hours. So 2 hours were for converse with God and do your accounting, and he gave 1 hour for pondering. So pondering is equal to accounting, equal to conversing with God. It has lots and lots to enrich our insight. So what are the types of pondering? Let's start with one is about the delicacy of creation, and that's probably what everything usually comes to our mind when we talk about, oh, you have to think and do your meditation type of thing. You will think about the creation, which is very good, but this is only the start. Second, the meaning of actions. When we do things or when we see things, what does it mean? And this is beautiful pondering. And situation, when you are in a certain situation, you will ponder about it. Even retrospectively will be beneficial to start with. And that would give us the reality of Tawheed, inshallah. So let's start with the first one, about the delicacy of creation. And there's 3 things in it. The first one is to ponder about the origin of God's gifts. Allah has given us lots of things. I mean, if we ponder my existence, how did I come to exist? How did it happen to start with? What protected me in my mother womb? Well, actually, many people, many potential human died in their mother womb. Who protected me when I came out? Who protected me when I lived to start with? All these, if we ponder around it, and you may think now, oh, you heard this before, but really, even with us being heard this before, have we really pondered about it? Usually, when we do that, we ponder in 2 directions. One about ourselves, and this is called anfusi, and about everything around us, and this is afaq. And why these 2 names? Because it came in Quran, al-anfus wal-afaq. These 2 words is from Quran, but that's what it means. Anfus means we are finding things in ourselves to ponder around, and what things around us. So with this in ourselves, I'll give you this clip.
Each sperm carries its own copy of the father's genetic code. With a basic sense of smell, the sperm, the smallest cell in the human body, sniff their way up the fallopian tube towards the egg, the largest cell in the body. Each month, a woman's ovaries release 1 egg, containing her own genetic code. She made these eggs while she was still a fetus herself. They've been kept in storage ever since, through childhood and adolescence, and on into adulthood.
And so begins my journey through space, a microcosmos. Planets, asteroids, molecules, chromosomes, constellations swirling, a genetic whirlpool, worlds within worlds, a Russian doll of universes, bursting at each seam. This is not my voice, no more than this is a human being. What you see is a human about to be. I cannot talk, or think, or feel. I am in limbo, but at least I am. I have passed from isn't into is. Until now, I wasn't, but now I am. A promise made by the past to the future. A beginning. I am the beginning of flesh, made word.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So really, probably many of you know that and seen it, but if you ponder around it, about this constellation of action, how many in this world, or how many creatures in this world has to be sacrificed to achieve a noble thing? You can see this even in the universe. There's lots of stars destroyed to get something better. And if we take this lesson in our life, we know that when we are all in one goal, it's okay to give losses, and we can understand what Imam Hussein alayhi salam, what people in the way doing, because losses to a goal is very important because we want to secure the future. And there's lots of things to ponder around from these when we look at it. So this is one thing. If we go to the afaq, to the things around us, there is lots to ponder around. If we look at the plants, we can understand the cycle of the seed. So everything is started from small and needs something to grow, and by this it will give and will give more. Now the question usually comes with the first thing, because the first thing we want to see how things started, and we give this very common example, how many have done it. So if we look at this beautiful Jaguar car, I mean probably it's beautiful for me, but I don't know for you, how many has made it? Can 3? Yes. Can it be 2? Also yes. Can be 1? It's difficult, but it can. Can be none? I mean, logically, and everybody will say no. And that's the reality, because the world cannot come from nowhere. It has to come from somewhere. At least one has made it. If we take this to another cup example, so the example of the cup. So this cup is totally empty. If we put water in it and then tightly close it that nothing can come in, and we have a special device that can empty this cup. So now the cup, the inside of the cup is empty. Has the cup disappeared? Not really. Which means there is something always exists. Now let's enlarge this example of the cup to the whole universe. Was there anything before everything else? Well, there should be. There is nothing called nothingness. The non-existent does not exist. And then the whole universe came, and then the whole universe will disappear. But always there is something which is always there. So can anything be before him? No, because it always exists. And can anything come after him? No, because he always exists. And this idea of oneness, once you think, how did everything starts, you will see Him Almighty in front of you. That comes only by pondering, because He's everywhere and He's around us everywhere. And that would explain the difference between the Wahid, which is numerical one, so one number, and Ahad. Ahad is quite different. It's the encompassing, the encompassing existence that is everywhere. Why is important to differentiate? Because if we think He's one as a numerical one, can this accept a possibility that one beside Him? Yes, it does. But if He is the one who's above everything, there is no space. So that's why our ulama says, our scholars says, the existence of another one, sharik, is an impossibility, because there is no place for a sharik. He's everywhere. Now, this is for us about pondering. Now, what our ma'sumin and infallibles do. It's interesting, from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi, and in the night he was so happy until this verse came. I can't say so happy. I mean, he's in a different situation until this verse came, and let's listen to it.
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب. Verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of night and day, there are indeed signs for men of understanding. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. Those who remember Allah standing, sitting, and lying down on their sides, and think deeply about the creation of the heavens and the earth. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And think deeply about the creation of the heavens and the earth, saying, Our Lord, you have not created all of this without purpose. Glory to you. Give us salvation from the torment of the fire.
And since then, our Prophet always go out at night looking at the sky and cries. So he kept on pondering practically to show us the way to that. It's been narrated from many of our ulama, in particular Shahabadi used to go, in particular when it's very cold in Qum Mashhad, and he have to have 1 hour looking at the sky and applying this rule. So nature can give us a lot in pondering, and this is very highly recommended by our prophets, our masumin, and our ulama. Now, so let's see because you may ask, oh well, how can I do that? Well, let's have a look through this clip to see nowadays how can we look at it. على محمد وعلى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى.
So I hope you enjoyed the journey, inshallah. Now, a question may come, what's all this about? I mean, why do you regard this part of your worship? Why worship is so, why do you want to complicate it like that? And why do we need to know all this? Why we don't do good deeds and that's it? I mean, I will leave this answer to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He answered very nicely in one of his khutbah when he talked about Tawheed. When he was asked about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, whoever described him, he compared him. Because for you to describe, you have to have something in your mind. So he said, oh, that looks white. So you have to have seen the white, so you can say this is white. And whoever compared him, he made him the second of two. Because if you compared him with something like somebody like him, and whoever made him the one of two, he divided him. If you understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as he is everywhere, so if you describe and you say he is one of two, so you divided him. And whoever divided him, apparently it's an ignorant of him. And whoever ignorant of him, he will point at him. Most of us do, unfortunately, because we raise our head up and we think he's sitting up there, and while he's really everywhere. And whoever pointed at him, he limited him with boundaries, because if we think that he's up there, not here, it means we limited him with boundaries. And whoever limited him with boundaries, he will count him. He will say there is one and two. And whoever count him, he will make him mortal, because you transfer from the space to time. So it's amazing khutbah, and it's full with meaning, and that would tell us why we need to know what's ahad wa wahid. Now another question comes, why do we just concentrate on this, not on science? Why do we actually, this is the reverse. So the first one don't want us to ponder, the other one is say, why do we give so much into religion and not to science, for example, because it will know a lot. And it's interesting, actually, I have to say, when I was young, I sent this question to one of the youth, asked him, well, I have to say that question has lots of ignorance in it, but just explain something that Thomas Edison has discovered electricity, and he did lots of favors by this to the whole humanity. If we compare this with what Imam Khoi did, and he was a big marja, but he benefited as well, mainly Shia. So the benefit that Imam Khoi gave, it's less than what Edison gave. So why do we regard him better? To answer this question, I'll explain one thing. I'll give you a parable, and then we'll take it further. Just imagine there is a very nice island, and that island, there's a scientist, and came, and he was so active, and he decided to discover few things in it, build, and fill it with joy, with all the technology. So you have everything there, and it was really blessing to live in that island. Beside him there is another old man who was always have a different vision. Across the sea, he think that there is the mainland, and in the mainland there will be much more joy. He worked hard on this vision. He made his boat, and he wants to sail, and whenever they talk, the scientist told him, well, look, you have no proof that there is anything in the mainland. Why do you want to go there? Everything is good here. So he didn't care about it and he continued. The problem is when we don't know what's outside, we are very happy with the inside. I'll give you the example of the baby in the womb. What does the baby eat? I mean, definitely he will have the food supply from the cord, but what comes in his mouth? His urine and feces. Is he not happy? Well, for him there is no other alternative. He is comfortable there in warmth, so for him that's beautiful, that's very nice. While for you and me, goodness, urine and feces, what's the fun in that? For him, that's all fun because he had no other vision. What's beyond this? When he comes out, what he'll get. So the same with our example. The scientists could not see beyond that. At the end, our boatman could manage to sail. He went. He found the mainland, and he found all the goodness in it. But he's so good a man, he decided to come back and tell them, look, the mainland is much better than this island. We have to work hard to go. And they said, the scientists objected, and he said, stop it. We are very happy here. We want to live here, die here, and if possible we don't die. So we work hard on our chromosomes to make it not dead. And that's what we are facing. So the answer came, Edison, and well, let's say, I didn't know that when I read the story, apparently there is some other incentive in the move, right? But let's say he did it only for humanity, not because he will have the biggest company in the world and get the most amount of money. But if he did it for that, he did it for this limited thing, while our ulama is taking us to the mainland, and that's the big difference. Right, so this is when we are talking about pondering about the delicacy of a creation. The first one, origin of goodness. Now what's blocking us from going there? The jails of desire. We are totally jailed in this. And practically, just think about it. You want to ponder tonight, for example. Either your stomach is full and you cannot ponder, believe me, when your stomach is full, or your mind is full, you just came out from the computer game, so you cannot ponder because there is something actively running in the inside. Or, I mean, all the jails that it can prevent this happening. In general, they say mainly there are 5 things. 1, over socialization. What does it mean? You give lots of importance for your today we have to go out. I cannot ponder. And when you are and then to arrange a party, it will take lots of time to arrange it. Well, not a party, let's say a gathering. Lots of time. We need to be, remember when we talked about yaqala, we need to be stingy in our time because really we don't have time. So this is one of the things that unfortunately blocks. The other thing, living in wishes. We always live, oh well, I'm too young, so as if I'm certain that I will live tomorrow. I'm too young now to give all this time to these things. Or look, I really want to go overseas and see such and such. And as if I have all this time, and I keep on living in the wishes. The third thing is hoping to get things from other than Allah. Sometimes what blocks me is I think that my rizq is coming, or my sustenance is coming from the boss in my company, or from the prof that I'm working with, that he wants me to do assignment or something like that. And by this I'll give lots of time and effort for them, forgetting about pondering, and actually it blocks me totally. And as we said, overeating is the big blocker, and the other big blocker is oversleeping. We love our bed, aren't we? So all this leave us with no time, and these are the blockers. So if we free ourselves from the jail, we can reach to perceiving the hints. Allah continuously sends us a hint. Whether we can perceive it or not, it depends on our limitations. For example, one of our ulama, he has a shop, and one day they told him, "Oh, there's a big fire in the bazaar." So the first thing he did, he said, "Is my shop okay?" As you do. They said, "Oh yeah." So he calmed down. He didn't go, and then he realized, "Oh my goodness! So I'm so selfish because my shop is good. That's it. That's all what I care about." And this is a hint from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to tell him, your I-ness is still big. You haven't worked hard. And Allah continuously subhanahu wa ta'ala sending us these hints to work harder to reach there. The other thing is to look at death. Am I mortal or immortal? This will always remind me of who am I working for? Where is my investment? Am I investing my time, my effort for this world? I keep on, oh, look, everybody has this new car, why not me? Everybody is building good, big houses, and I have the ability, why not? Well, if you have the ability, why not doing something better than just building a big house? Why not just send something, do another project to help others? You need to invest for your akhirah. That's what you need to do. There is no investment here. The investment here is you do an investment here for your akhirah, but otherwise it's not an investment. It's the West. And that's what Imam Sadiq alayhi salam told us. Take a lesson from this life. Has anybody lived in it forever? And did they keep this life, or this life kept them? Not really. Everything is gone. So death always is a good reminder. Then mistakes, the humbling mistakes. Sometimes you do things and you start to feel, whoa, I'm really good at it. I'm really good at it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to remind me every now and then, and He will make you make a big mistake, the one which can get you a blame from everybody. Take it positively. This is a reminder. Hold on. It's not you. It's not you who's doing it. You have no power if the power not coming from subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other thing is learning from nature. Nature has lots of lessons. We've just seen with the beginning of our creation, millions of sperms going for one goal. That's a big lesson. We have all to learn from it. The smallest, the sperm, is going to the largest, and somebody is sending this largest every month. Are we there? Are we connecting? It's a big lesson for us. What's the largest? Subhanahu wa ta'ala keep on giving something, and we have to run for it. So in an interview with a walker to Allah, which means big scholar, it's very interesting. I put this at the end. They asked him, what did motivate you to start this journey to Allah, to study Irfan? He said, well, because I'm mortal. Because I have to invest for the akhirah. Alright, what was your guide for this journey? He said, well, simply it's my intellect. Allah gave me a guide. So okay, what's the food for this guide? I mean, how can you walk and go through? He said, piety is my food. If I keep on remembering that Allah watching me, this is the best food to keep me going. And what was your hobby then? He said, worship. I said, what? Worship? He said, well, what do you think? What's more joyful than being with your beloved? This is a big lesson for us. We have to learn, inshallah, from it. So pondering where we are with it, it's a major thing in our religion. Quran is the book of pondering, and we have to use it to ponder around even me, I keep on saying verses, while they are ayat, they are signs. It holds a great position to our Imam and our Prophet ﷺ. And remember this ayah, use this ayah which touched the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, because it does touch the heart of everybody. The types of pondering, the first one is about the delicacy of creation, and to reach there we try to find whatever we see, what's the origin of this, how did it happen. It will take us really long way, and trying to remove what prevent us from this, which is the jail of desires. If we do these two things, we start to get the hints. We perceive the hint's always there, but we start to perceive it in a different way. So this is the first thing, what we will discuss in next lecture, inshallah. The next one is the meaning of actions and situations, and then inshallah that will take us to Tawheed. Now this time it's time of some exercise, because pondering is really something we have to exercise. And the first one, I'll give you something. I hope that you do it, and believe me, there is lots in it, and it is again we thought there's two things: ourselves or the things around us. So start with the things around us, and it's duck's life, and I'm not talking about the game. So I will send you a clip, and please write to me what lesson did you get from this clip. There's lots in it. The second one is about ourselves, and the best thing for that is from Munajat Sha'bani. We are in Sha'ban. I'm sending you just part of it. Think about it on yourself and ponder and write us. And Sallu ala